There's a kind of heartbreak people don't talk about, the kind that doesn't come from betrayal or a dramatic ending, but from slowly losing yourself in a relationship you're still in. It doesn't hit you all at once. It shows up quietly, in the way you stop saying what you feel, in the way you apologize just to keep the peace, in the way you smile while something inside you is slowly disappearing. You stay because you care, because you remember the good parts, because leaving feels like tearing your own identity apart. But there comes a moment, a silent, terrifying moment, when you realize you're breaking more by staying than you ever would by leaving. If your heart is exhausted from holding on alone, this video is the truth you're finally ready to hear. Breathe. You don't have to walk away today, but you do have to stop abandoning yourself today. 1. When you explain yourself more than you are understood. A healthy connection doesn't require you to constantly justify your feelings. You shouldn't have to soften every sentence, rehearse every word, or translate your emotions into something that makes another person comfortable. When someone cares, they lean in. They may not agree, but they try to understand. But when someone only wants to be right, every conversation becomes a courtroom. Your emotions become evidence, and you become the problem. You are not too sensitive. You are speaking to someone who decided their comfort matters more than your truth. Here is the reality no one wants to admit. Sometimes the closure you're waiting for never comes from them. It comes from finally choosing yourself. There's a moment when silence tells the truth louder than any argument. Pause. Let that settle in your body. 2. When their apologies only follow consequences, they don't apologize because they finally understand. They apologize because they're afraid of losing access to you. That is not awareness, it's damage control. Real change isn't proven in promises. It's proven in patterns. Anyone can be on their best behavior when they feel you slipping away. The real test is who they are when they feel safe again. If someone only shows effort when they're afraid of losing you, you're not being loved. You're being managed. And slowly, without noticing, you start lowering the bar just to keep the peace. You begin to call inconsistency, they're just like that. You learn to feel grateful for crumbs and call them effort. The longer you stay, the easier it becomes to forget what real care even looks like. You should never have to almost leave for someone to almost care. 3. When your nervous system is in survival mode, love should not feel like monitoring someone's tone to know if you're safe. If your body is always on alert, tight chest, shallow breath, overthinking every message, that's not connection. That's your nervous system begging for safety. Sometimes your mind says, I can handle this. But your body whispers, I don't feel safe here. Your nervous system keeps score long before your heart catches up. Here's the part no one talks about. You can confuse anxiety for attachment. You can confuse tension for passion. You can call chaos chemistry because it feels familiar. But if the only time you feel peaceful is when you're alone, you're not in love. You're recovering from being hurt. A relationship should not require you to abandon your body just to stay connected. 4. When your boundaries feel like arguments. If every I need space turns into guilt, silence, or punishment, you're not setting boundaries. You're begging for basic respect. Healthy people don't fear your limits. They don't take your needs personally. They don't make you feel selfish for protecting your peace. Love without boundaries doesn't make two people closer. It makes one person disappear. Your needs are not demands. Your boundaries are not rejection. They are instructions for how to love you well. The wrong person will call your boundaries an inconvenience. The right person will call them a roadmap. 5. When love becomes a responsibility, you stay because you don't want to hurt them. You're scared of being the bad one. You think leaving means you failed. But love without freedom becomes emotional debt, and debt always collects interest. You start paying with your sleep, your confidence, your ability to feel joy. There is a difference between loyalty and self-abandonment. One protects love, the other destroys you quietly. Staying should feel like a choice, not a punishment. You are allowed to leave a story that keeps rewriting you into someone you don't recognize. 6. When you shrink so, they can feel bigger. You talk softer. You take up less space. You dim your personality because your light makes them uncomfortable. If someone only loves the version of you that stays small, they don't love you. They love control disguised as care. You are not put on this earth to make yourself smaller so someone else can feel secure. Here is the truth. The right people are not threatened by your shine. They are warmed by it. Just because someone prefers the quiet version of you doesn't mean that version is the real you. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to exist fully. You are allowed to come back to yourself. 7. When the relationship survives, but you don't, you're still together. You still talk. Nothing has officially ended. But somewhere along the way, you disappeared from your own life. You stopped laughing the way you used to. You stopped sharing your thoughts. You stopped being someone you recognize. Sometimes the breakup already happened. Not between two people, but between you and the person you were becoming. A relationship is not healthy if the price is your identity. Staying shouldn't require shrinking your voice, your needs, your dreams. And here's the truth. People avoid the longest. You don't miss them. You miss who you were before you started breaking for them. Staying together is not the same as staying alive inside your own story. 8. When you're holding on to memory, not reality, you're not staying for who they are now. You're staying for who they used to be. The version of them in your heart is not the version standing in front of you. Letting go doesn't mean you stopped caring. It means you stopped breaking. Breathe. Walking away is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of coming back home to yourself. You don't have to leave today. You just have to stop abandoning yourself today. One day, you'll look back and realize the moment you feared the most was the moment you came back to life. You are not losing anything that was meant to stay. You are simply choosing yourself for the first time in a long time. Breathe. You're on your way home.